The first thing I'd love to do is just point out that we have some wonderful information about our conversationalists today who are leading the Congo Now conversation. Arlette Bashizi is new to our group. We're absolutely thrilled she's here. She is an award-winning documentary photographer and photojournalist born and based in Goma, DRC. She has done some incredible work that she's going to tell us about, and has been looking at everything from rare minerals to conflict in the DRC and Tigray, to a really, really powerful set of work that she and I had a good conversation about the other day on different abilities and how one lives with them and is professionally successful in Congo and around the world. This touches close to home for some of the children that we are in allyship with at CKI as they tackle really difficult challenges, and we're excited to see examples for them as working professionals. Arlette, that really meant a lot to me the other day, so maybe you'll dig into this as well. And she's worked with a number of people in our network of photojournalists and journalists, Bimbora Riley and others who we hope to also have on board. Her bio is in our website, and I know you've received it. Marcus will be very familiar to everyone on this call. His work on human rights has changed the world and continues to do so, as does his work in the foundation at Willstar right now. He's been our founding board member for a long time. He's worked deep in the Bunia and Congo community, and has worked on issues from conflict minerals to ethnic cleansing, to building community, and so on and so forth. And we were really honored to see him appointed to the Order of St. Michael and St. George in recent years, which is something that was a long time and appropriately coming. I'm going to turn this now over and mute myself to Arlette and Marcus. I'm here for tech support if needed. Arlette, I think you're going to be sharing some images, so do let us know if you have any trouble. And let's just see how we go. But welcome everybody, especially new people. We're really glad to see you here.
Great, thank you for the introduction, Leslie, and lovely to see you, Arlette. Can maybe we should just share a little bit, like, where are you calling in from today, Arlette?
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. And from now, I'm calling from Goma at home, where I am right now.
Yeah. And how is the situation in Goma? Maybe you could give the people on the call a little background to, you know, the most recent history, the last sort of 6 to 12 months politically, and also maybe more recently, the last sort of few weeks, you know, how things are in Goma. That would be lovely, so we can get a little foundation of where everything is.
Yeah, so actually Goma is located in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And since 2021, the M23 rebels started the war again against the Congolese army. And since then, many Congolese have been leaving their villages and being displaced to Goma and around the city as well. So for now, the town is full of displaced, and not only the center of the town, but also the neighborhood around Goma. And as for now, the town is cut off from the villages, from where stuff like food, supplies has been coming from. Now, the life here is becoming more and more expensive for us as local community. And also the other aspect is that for now, the rate of criminality and the security in Goma has gone on a very high level, because many of the rebels who used to operate in villages like Ruchuru and Masisi and all those places where M23 is now controlling are now living, some in the IDPs, and also others have joined the VDP movement, which are working with the government. And with all those stuff, some of them don't really have a good salary. So it's increasing more and more the situation, security in Goma. So yeah, for now, that's like the general situation from where I'm calling now.
You mentioned, again, just there may be some people on the call, I don't know who's on the call, there are some people that know Congo very, very well here listening to you today. And there are some people that maybe don't know very much about Congo, and they may be listening later after the call. So maybe you could give a little bit of background. You mentioned the M23 and you mentioned rebel groups in general. Which groups are there encircling you in Goma or close to you in Goma, and what is their kind of political motivation?
For now, it's mostly, as I said, the M23 rebels who took control of many villages around Goma, such as Ruchuru, the territory of Ruchuru, a part of Masisi territory as well. But even before the M23 war started, there used to be different small rebels group called Mai Mai. So many of them has also, for now, all of them has joined their efforts to the Congolese government, but still it kind of impossible to control of all of them. And that's why I'm saying that having people with guns living inside Goma, and also some of them have their families in the IDPs camp, is making more and more the town being more and more insecure.
Yeah.
But generally they have been like an ongoing war in the eastern part of the DRC for more than 25 years now. And all of that is mainly motivated by the natural resources of the country, because eastern part of Congo and also Congo in general has a lot of minerals. So that's one of the reasons why rebels always fight with government.
Yeah, thank you for that background. How you mentioned IDPs, internally displaced people. How many IDPs would you say are in the camps around Goma right now? Just give us a sense of the size of that community.
Yeah, for now, IDPs has more than 6 million of displaced person coming from different parts, and even like the recent one who fled their homes came from Sake, and Sake is located at 25 kilometers away from Goma. So we used to farm products, but now everything is cutted, and all those people are living in the IDPs, and also some of them live in Goma because they have families here. So not all the displaced are in the settled IDPs, but some of them are in also the host family here in Goma, because now camp can't contain all of them.
No, I've been to those camps, and I've spent a lot of time traveling around Goma and the surrounding regions, Ruchuru you mentioned, and Sake, and to imagine that you can't get food from those extremely fertile places to support the communities within Goma, and in addition you have this enormous IDP community. I can't imagine the pressures that puts on the local community individually, but also prices. So for everyone, it's a real challenge. I'd like to talk a little bit about the work that you've been doing, if that's okay, in the region. I mean, if you could, I know Leslie gave us an introduction to the key areas that you've been working in the DRC as a photographer and a photojournalist. Could you, give me or give the audience an understanding of the key topics that you're focusing on, and why you wanted to focus on them, why these are important to highlight?
Yeah, actually, when I started photography, I wanted just to document daily life in my community and share different stories. But then this war started, and I couldn't just be able to separate documenting or covering this war, and also my main goal, which was just to document daily life in my community. And since then, I've been covering this ongoing war, but also by highlighting the efforts that the local community are doing to support each other. Because we have a lot of NGOs here in Goma, but also there are some young people, like member of the Goma Active Collective and other movements here in Goma who have been supporting displaced people. So my work lastly have been focused on documenting this human cries, but also to highlight what local community are doing to support each other. And a part of that, I've also been documenting stories of women here in the eastern part of Congo and also in Africa, in different countries where I've been traveling, working for different newspapers. And one of the key points or one of the main element I would like the audience to retain is that women have been raped since this war started, and the number is going more higher and higher every day. Because in IDPs, as I said, there are some Wazalendo who are the VDP or the former rebel who joined the army who have their family there. So sometimes when they go to visit their family, it's maybe in the night, stuff happen. When women go to look for firewood, to just cook for their families, they are raped there. When they go out to look for water, they are raped there. So all those, element and stuff happening in Goma and around Goma related to this conflict have been the main stuff I've been documenting since this war started here.
I mean, these stories are really horrific, and I can't imagine the experiences that both you have been through, documenting it, but also the women who've experienced these horrific crimes. Could you give maybe me and the people on the call a little bit of an understanding of the support that these women can get from both the local communities and also the international NGOs that are on the ground? What kind of support can they get, and do they get enough? And if not, then what more can the international community do to support them? I think we've got a little delay. Did you hear my question, Arlette?
No. I lost you just when you started asking the question.
Okay,
sorry.
so I'm sorry about that. So I just really wanted to maybe if you could give a bit more context to the support that the women that you described that have been victims of sexual violence, what sort of support do they get from the local communities, and what sort of support do they get from the international NGOs, and is that enough? And if not, then what is the support that the international community can do more with, and how can we assist more with this particular issue that you've been documenting?
Yeah, let's say for the women who have been sexually abused, I think the first key point we should keep doing for them is to talk about their story and sharing their story, because in our society there is a lot of stigma about that topic. So the first thing is to share around us and to let the world know that in DRC, women have been facing sexual abuse. Also, there are some local organizations which provide support, mental support, and also provide some trainings for those women just to help them to move and to move on and to go on another step of their life. A part of that, also some international NGOs such as Doctors Without Borders also provide some medical support to them by assisting them when just after the rape. So there are some initiatives which have been doing here locally, but also the need is bigger than what the means they have. In a certain way, yes, they are assisting, they are helping women, but still they need more to keep supporting the women who have been facing the sexual abuse.
Mm-hmm. I know that within the orphanage that Congo Kids Initiative support at San Kizito in we see a lot of children coming in there who are the product of rape. And we see the mothers who have this really difficult challenge giving birth, and then a real challenge of what to do with the child, whether they would like to keep the child and raise the child, or is this just such a painful experience? Have you come across similar situations in Goma where the mothers are really having challenges with bringing this child into the world and what to do with it?
Yeah, actually, that's have been happening a lot because abortion is not legal in Congo.
Mm-hmm.
So, in a certain way, it's still a struggle for them. It's a kind of dilemma in which the women find themselves in, because many women, after being raped, they are rejected by their husband. They are rejected even by their families. So they have to fight alone against the world. And still they live in the same IDPs in a very hard condition where they don't have enough, how do I say, they don't have like, they don't live in a proper condition. So they still have to look after themselves, even if they are still suffering from what happened to them, but also they have to find a way to fight against the world because they are alone. Thanks to now local initiative where we have women trying to set up some program of training, as I said before. Now at least they can find a space where they can discuss and find that support. But even at the moment we are talking now, some women are raped, are being raped in the IDPs and the places around. So yes, there are something which is done, but still the need is big because it's still happening. The war is still going on and women are still being raped. So I think to the international audience who will be watching us, it's a kind of calling them to also support local NGOs which are trying to help these women here in Congo.
Yeah, I mean, these are just, I think, for someone sitting internationally, not experiencing what life is like in Congo, in Goma, in the communities that you've been working. You know, when I was working there, it was a real shock to realize that you know, these women were just rejected by their families, rejected by their husbands and partners, rejected by the community. And after such a traumatic experience, and potentially with a child on the way, they were just abandoned. And I think that this is, you know, a real aspect of the narrative within this Congolese conflict that doesn't get through maybe as often as it should, that these women, you know, after this horrific experience, just have to do everything on their own. That is quite shocking.
Yeah, and that has been happening since many years. It's not only related to this conflict here in North Kivu, but still in Ituri, there is an ongoing war, which means that women are still being raped there, and they are living in the same cycle. If you go in South Kivu, where for now, a biggest part of the province is not under war, but if you go and visit the Panzi hospital where raped women are treated, you may, in a certain way, have an idea of how this is a kind of cycle that women in Eastern Congo have been living through since many years now, and it's still happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of
and
course.
It's still happening, and the rape is used now by rebels as one of the weapon of this war. So it's still happening.
Yeah, and the work Dr. Mukwege is doing with the Panzer Hospital is pretty amazing. And if people on the call aren't aware of that, then if they wanted to go and research that, then they can. Sorry, my daughter's just come in to say hello, but so that, but Papa's on a call, so can you go downstairs and I'll come into it later on. Thank you. So I was wondering, Arlette, would you have some images that you would share that you could potentially share with us? It looks like you're frozen again. Hello? Leslie, can you see Arlette, or is she frozen for you too?
Hi, she's frozen, so I don't know if she can see us, but what I am going to do is go ahead. I've put, for folks listening in the chat, I've put her website on the link in the chat that everyone can access, and then I'm going to do that again. And just while she navigates the internet, which we are very appreciative of all of us having to navigate internet sometimes, and we're glad you're here. She and I talked about whether if there was a little bit of a tech challenge, that she would be fine with us sharing. So what we could do while she does this is, Marcus, do you have the capacity to share on your end, your screen? Or I could share my screen.
Can you share your screen there? Because otherwise I bit the structure.
I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So everyone should see my 7,000 million tabs that are open. But just while we wait for her to navigate this, she and I talked a little bit the other day at the end of the practice run about her work. I'm going to use a moment here to feature a project she spoke really eloquently about, which I thought was so powerful. And for those of us who've been following the journey of some of the children at St. Cazitos who are dealing with different abilities, these are a series that she and a colleague took to show folks that they know who are dealing with challenges of different abilities of all types. And it was very important to her in doing this work, and the link is also in the chat, to indicate how professional these folks are and how they are working with all kinds of different ability issues. They are making money, they are finding joy, they are navigating the physical challenges, the emotional challenges, and the stigma that they face. I love the fact that we have women and men, we have sports, we have someone repairing shoes, we have boots, we have all kinds of things. And this was something that she really wanted to do, was to show people, clearly show their disability or different ability, and clearly show them as professionals and people really enjoying and participating in the fullness of life in Congo. So I think that's something that's really great. Another essay that she did that we talked a little bit about is
Arlette's just joined.
Oh, good, Arlette. I was using the
sorry.
time. No, it's okay. I was using the time just to kind of share a little bit of your work as we discussed. And we went through, I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute. We looked at your work on disability and professionalism, and I shared some of the words that you so eloquently spoke about the other day. But we would love it if you wanted to share a little bit of your work, either on the website or with some images.
Sure. I'm just going to share my screen. And yeah, this is some of the images I've been producing.
Yeah, I think it's great to go through it, these sorts of images to give people a context of, what's happening in and around Goma, to give them an understanding of the military presence and the impact that has on communities. So maybe you just want to click through and give us an indication of what's going on in each of the images, just give us a bit of background. That would be great.
Yeah, so this is actually some of the images I've been taking for the last years, documenting this ongoing war and also the displacement. So this was actually when the conflict started. and the condition, how people have been, these pictures have been taken in Sake, when now no one is there, everyone has now left Sake. So displacement has been happening. People have been leaving their villages to some places and then leave those places to Goma now. Like these displaced came from Shasha. They first arrived in Sake, and after a few months there, they left Sake to Goma. So that's how now Goma is full of displaced people. You can see how the IDPs are constructed. When it rains, it's difficult. When there is sun, it's difficult again for people living there. But still there are like local initiative, as I said, with artists, like in these pictures. In this picture here, we have some dancers who went in an IDP camp to celebrate the International Day of Dance. And it was a moment to allow again to the displaced in the IDPs to just celebrate and to live and enjoy the present moment. But still the need there is big, and they need assistance. It's not only about celebrating when maybe there's local initiative, but when I've been talking to all these displaced for more than 3 years now, the only thing they always tell me at the end of our conversation is, I want to go back home. I want to go back to my family. I want to be able to go and do the farming again. And yeah, that's the only one of the only thing the displaced need, because we also have people who have been wounded during the different explosion. We had some of the IDPs being bombed by the rebels, and people have been losing either their family members or member of their bodies. So it's still very hard for now to know, or to know if anyone is already used to suffer, because it's in a certain way impossible. So I'm just trying to balance and document both stories, where I'm showing resilience or every local initiative that is done to the displaced, but also I just keep documenting the reality of how all the cities have been, all the population coming from villages around Goma have now been coming and staying in Goma, which is making the life here very difficult for us. Yeah.
I mean, these images are so impressive and so striking, and the kind of reality of daily life in DRC, in Goma, it comes clearly through to the viewer. They're really incredible images. So you mentioned earlier on that you'd been kind of looking at the source of the problem, some of the natural resources that are being exploited in the region. Do you have anything that you could share with respect to some of the minerals that you see, or the impact around the mines and military presence around the mines? Is there something that you have that you can share with that?
I actually did one story. If Leslie can help us to go on the website, because my internet is very bad now.
Yeah,
I can't.
Leslie, you might help out with that.
Yeah, just to go on the website.
Wait, I can jump in, and I'll just pull that up. And I just wanted to mention, I've got a couple of side questions. I'm using the chat. For those who aren't familiar, IDP stands for internally displaced person. So a person who is displaced and moves over a national border becomes a refugee within your own country. You are an IDP. That was a question that was asked. And please feel free to ask any other questions that come up. Arlette, I am on your website, and is there a particular project that you would like me to click on?
Yeah, the project on minerals.
And I see on the homepage, under
Great.
commission, the on mining for EV, this, I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see if I'm able to share my screen here just for a second. Is this the one that we were looking for?
We can see your screen. I can see it.
You can't see it.
Yeah, maybe I should stop sharing mine and then it will.
Oh,
You'll be
okay.
able to share yours, yeah. But in the meantime, I can give like the general context on the mine and the current situation here in Congo. Is
Is that me or is that Arlette again?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, like Congo has one of the biggest natural resources of minerals, with the copper and cobalt in Kolwezi. It's still in the eastern part, but also here in Goma, in North Kivu, sorry, Rubaya has one of the biggest resources of coltan. So for the recently, even the town of Rubaya, the village of Rubaya, also went under control of the M23 rebels. And in those mines, there's still people working there. But then where are those minerals produced there are going? There's some of the reason why we still have people fighting. It's because of all these natural resources of our country. And the people who suffer the most about this are just civilians, are just local communities who are now living in the IDPs and left their home and who are now suffering from different disease just because of the different condition in the IDPs, which are not good enough for them to live there. But also the how do I say it in, yeah, also the rebels have been taking control of different strategic places of the North Kivu province.
And are you when you say they're taking control of strategic places, they're doing it so they can get access to these minerals, so they can profit from the exportation of these minerals to the international community, right? Because these minerals are being used by the developed world in their cars, in their electronic products, and those purchases are fueling this conflict to some extent.
Yeah. So when I'm saying taking the strategic areas of the eastern part, like when they are controlling the Rubaya mines, where they produce daily an important quantity of coltan. Where are those minerals going? Those are questions, but maybe you can help us to answer. And also, as you mentioned, those minerals are used. The world need those minerals to product, to be able to maybe to product cars and all the electronic devices, the computers, the cell phone. They need those minerals, and those minerals are in Congo. So I think it's easy to understand.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, such an incredibly important body of work that you know that you produced here. It's and as
Yeah.
people can see on the screen, this was a story that you did for the Washington Post, and people can always go there to see see more of the work if they want to. Really powerful work. This image, when I saw it the first time, really struck me. Just the size of it, the scale of it, the danger within it. You know, within that community, how natural it seems to just be a part of this, a part of this community, just you know, artisanally taking out minerals from the earth, so that you know the international community can benefit from the electronic. We just have maybe sort of 8 minutes left, I think. I just wanted to come back. I know that we discussed at the beginning this concept of sexual violence, and I know it's a difficult conversation to continue, but it would be lovely to see some of the work that you've done, trying to highlight the impact that rape as a weapon of war has on the women and the communities. Is there somewhere within the website that you could point us to that we could have a look at that as well?
Yeah, so I'm currently working on and you can check on the commission, and yeah, that one I did it in that one was actually the first part of this project I'm currently working on, called Survivors, and it's documenting how rape have been used as a weapon of war in Africa, in many countries where the war is still going on. And I'm developing the same project here in Congo with the support I got from the Aftermath project. I just can't share for now the images with the public because it's still I'm still working on it, and it should be published after the project we are working on together. But it also highlights the same stories in Congo, how women have been raped for a very long time here, but also we are trying to show their resilience. Because even if we talk about rape, we shouldn't forget the way women here are trying to support each other and to fight this system, which for a long time now have been putting women in a position where they've been called to respond as the responsible of what happened to them. In our community, when a woman is raped, they will first, instead of try to assist her or to understand, they will ask her, how does that happen? Why did you let it happen to you? What are like very hard and complicated question to answer because they didn't ask for that. So I'm developing the same project, and when the time will come, I will share it with you, and you may find it on my website. It just the second part of this story I did in Ethiopia that I'm developing now in Congo.
Can you share with me one thing? Sorry, I just have my daughter here, Arlette. So this is Amelia.
One, that's not right.
But,
Kodama starts in 6 minutes.
okay, so it's I'm going to come down in a minute. Okay, I'm just on the.
In 6 minutes.
Oh, okay.
6.
Okay, off you go down. Sweets. I just have one question with respect to that community. As a photographer, how?
Papa, ask me one question. What is it in 41?
I don't know, but I just want to finish this course, Sweets. Thank you very much. I am sorry about that. That was Vilja. She's very lovely. I just wanted to know a little bit about how the communities respond to you working with them in such a challenging story. I noticed a lot of the images that you're taking, they're anonymous. I can understand quite rightly why that is, but how do these communities and the women here respond to you working with them in this way?
One of the things that I always do, I don't go in the IDPs to take only pictures. I take the camera is the thing that I turn on like after finishing all the preparation part of my work. Mainly, I just go there first to talk to women. We try to have just this conversation to understand what happened to them, how they are going through it, and how they are living those specific moments. And then after that, I also explain to them that I'm a photographer and I'm there to document their stories and to give to amplify their voices. Because if no one knows what is happening to women displaced in the IDPs in Goma, if no one knows about it, then how could they hope for any change for their situation? And also, I also think that as a woman, it's I have that privilege to create first that connection of trust with my sisters and mothers that I photograph. I don't see them as subject. I don't talk to them as my subject. I talk to them as human being, as my sisters, as my mothers, as my aunties. Because the truth is that even myself, I have families who have been displaced and affected by this war. Even here in Goma, in a certain way, we are also affected by this war, even if we are not living in the IDPs. So I'm not only sharing their story, I'm sharing the stories of women of my community, of sisters and mothers who are, with whom I've been living for a long time. I think that also helped to create that a connection of trust. And then the last thing I do is taking pictures. I take time to make them comfortable to first sharing their stories with me, because it's also not easy for them to be like repeating again and again what they went through. So I just take my time for this kind of documentation, and always make sure that I'm not talking to subject, I'm talking to human being, and I'm photographing human being. I'm just like asking myself, if this could be my mother, will I be happy to see my mother photographed this way? If I have the answer, then I'm okay to take pictures.
Yeah, and it shows in your work. It's a really beautiful set of images and a really powerful and important set of images on this. I know that there's one question in the Q&A about the access to Pansy Hospital. Is it too far from where you are, at least, to get to? And it is a long way away, but there are support mechanisms in Goma for rape victims in various parts of the city, I believe. Is that still the case, Arlette?
Yeah, there are like local initiative, but I think also Goma, with all the cases that we have here for now, need a place like Pansy Hospital where women should be treated. Because the Pansy, I got the opportunity to work with the Pansy Foundation a few months ago, and I can tell that they provide more than just treatment. They provide psychological support, which is one of the very important process to consider in the healing of raped women. So yeah, I think to everyone watching us, and if in a certain way you can support the Pansy Foundation, I will also share different links of local organization which are also trying to support survivors of rape, that could be found maybe at the end of this video, maybe on the YouTube version which will be published online. Yeah.
That's great. I know Peter has asked one final question. I know we're just a little bit over time here, but just one final question from Peter. who asked, do you collaborate with the local government when you're working?
Sorry, come again?
Do you collaborate with the local government in any way when you're working, or do you have to, or are you working independently, either to get access to stories or to communicate what's going on?
Yeah, it's really depend on the story I need to work on. As I'm actually a local journalist. I'm Congolese, so I don't really need authorization for like to go in the IDPs. But if it's about going on front lines, for that I need permission from and support from the local government, but sometimes they are supportive, sometimes they are not. It depends on which story you want to work on, but mainly we just help each other here. As a journalist living in Congo, we help each other by providing contacts, and yeah.
Okay, that's great. I just want to thank you for the amazing work that you're doing. I know the difficult situation, though, both that you're living in and working in. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to listen to you talk and hear you share the work that you've been doing. I really appreciate it, and so thank you very much indeed.
I'd like
Thank
to
you so much for having me.
And thank you both for doing this, and Arlette for lots of tech back and forth as you were traveling and so forth, and to thank the folks who joined us. You will all get an invitation, if you haven't, for our next Congo Talks, which is going to be between Father Peter Mateso and Brian Mealer in conversation about faith in the face of conflict and violence and what that looks like and how that happens. We're really excited to dive into that in conversation. And we will send you a link to the YouTube for this one. And Arlette will be really excited to see and attach any links, post them on social media. I've put a few just here in the chat, how folks can support the community that you are documenting and support holistically. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Thank you, Leslie, for putting it all together.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.